Masjid Bilal coordination. We'll get into more details on that last part. All right, first thing, retrospective. I want to hear feedback. I can come up with feedback on my own, but I want everybody to give me their feedback on Masjid Bilal. How did you guys feel like it went? I know there's a few that haven't been with us, but Bismillah.
So alhamdulillah, overall, we completed the project mostly. No sent me pictures. We missed some stuff, guys. We were so tired. One panel wasn't glued or nailed on at all. He said it kicked the ball and just fell down. And there was a little area that we didn't cover with the panel as well. But besides that, it looked good before the messages that I received today. So it was a month-long project. It was a massive project that we took on. Alhamdulillah, we were able to get that done. A lot of new learnings, a lot of brothers first time using saws and measuring and drilling and cutting things wrong and doing it right. Alhamdulillah, overall we made a huge impact to this masjid that is very much under-resourced and underfunded. And of course, I don't even know if it's like fully known by every member that alhamdulillah we fundraised for it as well. We're able to get the funds to basically cover most of the project. So
before we go over some kind of proposed ideas moving forward, I want to hear some feedback from the other brothers that participated. How did you feel? What do you think we could have done better?
I feel like it could have been a bit more organized. Like if everybody had roles from the beginning, then like we could have got more done with the time that we had.
Okay.
And also kind of like having a process, because like with this project specifically, it was like you kind of had to go in order. Like you couldn't like do, you know what I'm saying? You couldn't start like putting the wall unless you did the drywall, unless you did the wood. So like having like a process.
Good. Any other feedback? It could be positive or negative. Like we're all here to build each other up. So critiques are welcome.
I wasn't here for this particular project. I think, but with any project going forward, I think it would be nice to, if we dedicated a day to maybe like the pre-plan of any project. Sit down, maybe have a mini class and explain to everybody exactly how these processes go. That way we're all on the same page.
Very good. I like that. So definitely one of the things moving forward, if any masjid or any Muslim institution approaches us, hey, can you guys take on this project? We're gonna essentially do, you know, what's colloquially known as an estimate, but basically what materials are needed, what money's needed, which is gonna cover materials, but also if we need to pay skilled labor, we need to account for that, as well as a timetable. This was more like learning how to swim by jumping into a river, which I'm from Eastern Kentucky, that's kind of how we do it, but we also know that, okay, we're gonna learn from this first experience, so definitely an estimate up front. Materials, cost, time. The second thing is we're going to at least offer to help fundraise if whichever masjid or institution may not have all that cost up front. We're happy to help with fundraising, right? But it's gonna be something that's mutually agreed upon. Give us all the details up front, and then myself as the Amir, I'm gonna green light or say, hey, we can't work something out, right? We will still, very small jobs, we'll take those on because that's our way of kind of converting it into a workshop. So an example, here at HIRA, we switched out the light switch, the outlet. That was something for us to learn. Super basic, one day, cool. But anything beyond that, yes, definitely gonna do an estimate, cost, material, time, and we need all of those details up front. I'm even, like, part of me wants to explore maybe doing like a contract, because we know like in our community a lot of things are just verbal, like you know, sure, okay, cool, or we're gonna kind of like peer pressure you, but it's like, no, let's get this on a contract. So that both parties understand what's needed of us. Are there any other suggestions? Now we're moving towards suggestions.
I would say if we do another project like this, it might be beneficial to be transparent in the beginning and actually schedule out more time. Like some of us that work corporate, we always have like volunteer days at work. They like 4 to 6 hours blocked out, you go work on a project. The reason why this took us well over a month, and even after everyone had kind of left, we stuck around and had to do a lot more, was because brothers were in the habit of, we come at 1:30, by 3:30 we're out, I got plans, we got things to do. So I don't put the blame on anyone but us, because we should be upfront and saying, okay guys, for this Sunday, we're doing a project, we're actually doing drywall. You better block off like 4 hours, 5 hours, let's knock it out, get it done. Whereas we ended up doing like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then we start with maybe 20 guys, an hour in, an hour 15 in, we're probably left with like 4 or 5. So I think moving forward, it's a great idea, as Yazin said, to have a day of pre-planning. You know, think about all these things that we're gonna need in advance, and then block off, so where we need this Sunday, we need 5 hours. The next Sunday, we need 3 hours. After that, it's just 1 hour for cleanup. So that the brothers, if they're aware, they can clear their schedule for that time. Or if they're not able to make it, then they let us know. I think that would work better for all parties involved, just to know how much of a time commitment it is.
Agreed.
We seem to have spent half of the actual day spending it on the pre-planning part, you know what I mean?
Yep. I agree with both of you. The other suggestion, I had a conversation with one of our members. I'm going to start to have kind of like educational workshops on how to use certain tools and how to do certain tasks. Now that was a deficiency on my part, because my background, I kind of learned that from my grandpa growing up, but I have to understand, like, not everybody has that experience. So in the coming months, we'll have certain workshops where it's like, okay, learn how to use a saw, learn how to use a drill. Now some people might, oh, that's super basic, I can figure it. No. We're gonna make sure everybody knows how to use these tools, how to do these basic tasks. That way, whenever we pick up a project in the future, more brothers are equipped with that knowledge. It's like, okay, I can definitely jump in, I'll take this role, take that role, inshallah.
If I could suggest also,
Yeah.
for you, maybe find out from all the brothers in the group who has what source of tools, and that way you know in advance for future projects exactly what we do have, how well prepared we are for those projects.
Yep. Next thing we're about to talk about actually kind of touches on that.
Okay.
Yep. But you're right, that's definitely something we're gonna do moving forward. Any other feedback? Good to move on? Oh, I thought you had your hand up, my bad. Good to move on to the next topic? All right, bismillah. All right, this builds on what you were talking about. Alhamdulillah, a number of us, we bought extra tools for this project, but also stuff in the past. And I'm looking for creative ways to get more of our members involved in kind of growing small, I'm calling them projects, programs, whatever word you want to use. One of these ideas, calling it the Muhsineen Tool Library. It's actually based on something, if you live in Old Louisville, there's the Louisville Tool Library, so it's basically kind of a smaller version of that. What's the idea? The idea is that the tools that we have that's beyond like our personal like need, if you want, you're welcome to donate them to this tool library. The tool library, it's going to be a collection of tools. If you're a Muhsineen member, you can rent them for free for either personal use or, once again, for future projects. We would charge a fee for people outside of the Muhsineen, but within the Muslim community, to rent them. That money would then go towards the Muhsineen, so that we can use that for future workshops. What has been established so far? We have a location, we have a place to store them. So if you remember at Greenhaven Cemetery, you got that white brick building, we have a room inside. I've got the keys. Whoever is willing to help me with this project, take the lead on this project, by the way. I'll be there for Nasiha, but I want members to volunteer to take charge of this program. I'm gonna get you a copy of those keys. And then I've also kind of built out a Google Sheet tracking the different tools that we have. What am I looking for? I'm looking for 1 to 2 brothers. If there's more, alhamdulillah, but 1 to 2 brothers to take lead of this project. That means I'm gonna keep track of the tools that we have using that Google Sheet. I'm gonna keep track of who's renting them. I'm gonna make sure that if it's a community member outside of the Muhsineen, they've paid their fee. I am working with Adam Zahaf and inshallah Mahmoud. You guys are gonna be studying contractual law. I think you explained here. We're gonna develop a contract. Hey, sign here, you agree. All right, you gotta bring back the tool in good condition. You break the tool, cool. Here's an additional fee that you gotta pay. You gotta recompense us. But obviously, we're gonna make sure that contract is Islamically valid. But I need 1 or 2 people to volunteer. It's not a complicated process. You don't even have to live close to the cemetery, to be honest. You know, maybe go there once a week or once a month just to kind of make sure, okay, the tools are there. Somebody to, you know, meet or arrange, hey, I'm brother so-and-so, I wanna rent the saw. Okay, cool, let me meet you at the cemetery, sign this contract. I need 1 or 2 brothers. Yazin? All right. Where's my phone? I can take note. Yazin? I know I can get a second brother. And I promise it's not rocket science. No, it's not.
What am I helping you out with, like, the tracking and
Yeah.
how like a spreadsheet or something?
Yep, tracking, spreadsheet, somebody in the community wants to rent, you know, between you and the other, you and Yazin, hey, we'll meet you, sign this, cool, here's the tool. And then after the agreed upon time, hey, I come back 1 week later, I can either drop it off and you just pull up to the cemetery and bring it inside, whatever you guys work out.
Are we gonna have like, I think we should have maybe like a set fee for like groups of tools, let's say like saws are this much, you know, per day, per week.
Sounds like he's
You'll be
signing
part
up.
of, yeah, you'll be part of determining
Hamza,
that.
put him down.
Like,
Sounds like
I
he's
don't
signing
mind
up.
doing like like that technical aspect of it, but.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I got you two. I got you two. All right, alhamdulillah. So I should have brought something to write on. I'm an old man. All right. So that's gonna be the tool library. Like I said, I'm here for Nasiha, but I want you guys to build it up. So all of the things that you're thinking about, what should be the fee, you two get to pick. Alhamdulillah. All right. Second, I'm calling it program, the Muhsineen Majlis. Alhamdulillah, our group has grown. You know, we started out, 6 to 8 people. We're above 35 at this point. Different parts of the community, different masajid. The idea is, outside of our regular Sunday gathering, members of the Majlis will meet together to discuss local issues and to come up with solutions for certain local issues. So on the slide, kind of explain that. Let me give you an example. A lot of people in our Muslim community, they know we have an Islamic cemetery. They don't know the process. Let's say somebody passes away in their family, they don't know the process of how to arrange to get that person buried. Recently, I put together kind of like a diagram, try to make it as simple as possible, step by step by step. Well, here's the issue. My Arabic's not strong enough to where I can translate that in Arabic. I don't speak Somali. I don't speak the other languages. I need help disseminating this throughout the community to where I'm not saying 100% are going to understand the process, but as much as we can get. The Majlis would meet together. Let's come up with some sort of strategy to get that information out. So it might be that Muhammad takes it to ICAL, Anwar takes it to 6 Mile, Ramadan takes it to Masjid Bilal, so on and so forth. But we meet together, discuss local issues. This isn't some little, chatty Cathy gossip hour, but we're discussing local issues. Let's come up with solutions. Let's be part of executing those solutions. We've grown, alhamdulillah. We have brothers from different zip codes, different masajid, different parts of the community. Let's flex the muscle a little bit. Let's put that to work for the benefit of the community. I'm split, and I want your all's feedback. Do I select certain people from the group, or do I just make it kind of an open invitation? You know, maybe Saturdays at a certain time, we can discuss that. Should I pick select people, or should I make it open invitation? I'm leaning towards open invitation. That being said, my hope and my expectation is that anybody who comes, if they're given like a task, and it's not gonna be a monumental task, but a small task. Hey, can you take this to Westport, to River Road? Yeah, I got you, Hamza. What do you guys think? I'm cool with open invitation, but I do wanna hear feedback.
I think you should probably select people just so someone takes on that responsibility, but also leave it open for whoever wants to help out. Because I think sometimes if you make it open invitation, everyone expects the other person to, you know, take on the responsibility.
The
and then
bystander
everyone's-
effect.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I agree. I think both as well. Make it open, but also for Westport you have
Yep.
Faisal and this brother. For River Road you have this brother and this brother. So they're expected to be the main point of contact. But it's also open, so anybody else can join. Once the date and time is established, it's open call.
Or keep it open when it comes to discussing the matter, and like you said, when it comes to communicating this to a certain masjid, one or two people.
Oh, I like that idea. Any feedback on the idea in general? Do we like this idea? Do you wanna propose improvements? Make it pretty straightforward. Okay.
I think maybe, getting in touch with the masjid that you wanna do that, so that the people that, you know, attend, they also know, just so that it's not like only a Muslim group, but like everybody who might benefit can also,
I like that idea.
like if it's announced at Friday prayer, for example, you know what I'm saying? It would get a wider audience.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Alright.
Rather than us guessing what the local issues might be important for the primary, secondary point of contact to talk to the local imams of those masjids to understand what the local issues that might be affecting that local community.
And that was part of the thinking as well, for choosing someone who's at that masjid. For example, the Masjid Bilal project, like how did it come about? There's probably tens of other projects in the community. That one just so happened that it's my brother who reached out to me like, you guys have a big group, we need a lot of help. So these kinds of projects come out of you bringing to us what is going on in your community, in your local masjid. So yes, I think inviting the greater community, but we are expecting that you are the primary and the secondary, right, for that masjid. And if you aren't, then we gotta talk. You should be.
That's a really good idea, Ahmed. I appreciate that. Alright, so what I'll do, just to kind of get the ball rolling so that we can select, we want to try to keep it as consistent of a time as possible. I'll put a poll in the WhatsApp. I know not everybody loves WhatsApp. It's just useful for this purpose. I'm going to put a poll, what day, what kind of time ranges work. We'll try to select one that works for as many people as possible, inshallah. Alright, so that's good there. Third and last topic, it's two things I'm hoping a brother steps up for one and another brother steps up for the other. So, alhamdulillah, we've done a lot of work at Greenhaven Islamic Cemetery. One of the things that keeps coming up from general community members, so almost treat this like as a Majlis meeting. One thing that a lot of the community bring up is when I come to the cemetery, I have to spend a lot of time to find one of my buried loved ones. There's no either physical map or virtual map that I can use to like easily come to the cemetery and then try to find where so-and-so is buried. One of the ideas, and I want a brother to, volunteer to step up to see if we can brainstorm, is to establish some physical marker or map that either, they can pull up on their phone, or when they get there, they can kind of look at to kind of understand, okay, in this row, like I know, my brother is buried in this row, okay, I can look at the physical markers, okay, row 12 is right here, okay, let me just go there and I'll find the grave. That's kind of the general idea. I know that's pretty vague. The hope is that a brother volunteers to kind of take that idea and just mold it into something more specific. But I think that would be a benefit for really all of the community that has somebody buried at the cemetery. So I would like one brother to volunteer for that. Let me discuss the Masjid Bilal, and then we can kind of see if we can find somebody to take these on. For Masjid Bilal, there is further work on the masjid itself. What we're hoping to find is somebody to coordinate, and what I mean by coordinate, it could be something as simple as getting quotes to install, lights somewhere, or get a quote to fix like HVAC. These are just ideas. Or if it's something that maybe is a big project that we can take on in the future, kind of do what we explained, which is let's get an estimate. We want to find basically a point person that communicates, that interfaces with Masjid Bilal, and either helps them find like a contractor that can do X and Y work, or can plan a project that we take on in the future. I'm not saying this month or next month, but in the future. So we're looking for somebody to work on that Greenhaven project, and somebody to be kind of the point person between, to help Masjid Bilal with any sort of renovation that they need on the masjid.
And to expand on the Masjid Bilal, this one is more, the way that Hamza has explained is more broad and general. Really what the idea, where it came from is, we went to renovate that gym. We added on like a couple more things that we wanted to do. For example, paint the gym, install new lights, so it could be a fully renovated project, fully done by the Muhsineen. We just barely got done with the paneling and the drywall and everything by the end of it, and we were just so exhausted that we weren't able to continue that. So the number one priority is basically, we want to still paint that gym. We want to get some new lights in there, or fix the lights, because it was pretty dark in there. And those two efforts are what you're going to be coordinating. We're not asking you to sign up to be a full-time Masjid Bilal coordinator for the rest of your life, right? If that is the masjid that you're around, if that's your neighborhood, then yeah, you could, again, as we've mentioned, part of the majlis is that you are from that community. You bring to us projects from them. But the main thing for this is, the projects that we were trying to work on but didn't quite get around to finishing it up, they're like, when I say they're under-resourced, like, they have money. The money isn't the only problem. They don't have the people to coordinate and do these things at times. And funding might be an issue as well, but step by step. So keeping those two projects in mind, painting that gym, getting new lights in there. Those two things need coordination. As Hamza mentioned, you go to the masjid, talk to the brother in charge, my brother or anyone else, Sheikh Abdul Khadir, and see, okay, bring in a contractor, see how much it would take to paint, right? How much do they say? Tell them to the masjid how much it is. If it's too much, then we bring in someone cheaper to do it. Or we even thought about, we were gonna do it, we just ran out of time, and we were pretty exhausted. So that's what that is. It's not an open call for coordinating, projects for, the rest of your life, for example, for Masjid Bilal. So hopefully that's easier to digest and sign up for.
Do they have a board?
They do have a board, but as many of you know, not all the board will be active in any organization.
An active member shouldn't have a seat at the board.
Huh?
For the Greenhaven project, is there a brother willing to take that on? And I want somebody other than Ahmed and Yasmin.
I was gonna say, since if nobody is interested, since we're there in recommend, I would be open to doing that, but of course, we want others involved, so.
I appreciate that, the willingness. The reason why I wanna try to have another brother take this on is, you know, I want to get more brothers actively involved in the community. Now, yes, obviously, we're involved through the Muhsineen, but to build up leadership skills, organizational skills, you know, creative thinking, or, you know, all of those different skills, I want to push another brother to take this on. Obviously, you're gonna have, you know, nasiha from me, from all the brothers, so it's not like, oh, I'm just on an island by myself, but you're gonna take charge of this particular Greenhaven project. Matt, there we go, I love it, alhamdulillah.
Please, I need a salary for that. 1,000 a month, please.
Amen. May they
One
be
shawarma a
wait-
month.
Yeah, one shawarma per month, but
Okay,
may they be weighty deeds on your scale. I mean, for Masjid Bilal, so Muhammad gave you more specifics. This isn't like, oh, it's a year-long thing. No, but to kind of coordinate, kind of wrapping up the renovations that they had asked of us. Is there any brother interested in coordinating that? Man, eyes down, come on now. Oh, he's texting. Sorry. Any brother
Ramadan
interested?
here?
Huh?
Ramadan here?
I'm actually gonna reach out to
If
him.
he's missing, the person who's not here gets it assigned.
There you go. This one for Masjid Bilal, I'm actually going to ask Ramadan just because he is active there. But is there any other brother that wants to maybe help with it? If not, no worries. I can put the weight on Ramadan here. Alright. Bismillah. So we got Yazin and Ahmed Haji for the tool library. We got Mahed for Greenhaven. I'll sit down, talk with Ramadan. That actually might be a good thing for him to take on since he's active there. Is there any other brothers that go to Masjid Bilal, like actively? Abdul Majid, he's joined. I'll also talk to him actually. Maybe him and Ramadan can work together because I know they both go to
There you go.
Masjid Bilal. Yeah. Abdul Majid told me. All right.
I was actually just leaving him a message right now.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
said he's coming.
That's all good. Yeah. I met him earlier today. So, alhamdulillah. All right. Before we do closing dua and get to lunch and relax, any other general feedback? Once again, it can be a critique, it could be a compliment, because I actually have some compliments to give that I want to hear from you guys. Any other feedback? Good?
What does 2025 look like?
Hold on, sorry.
Go.
Good.
I was gonna say, what does 2025 look like for Muslim?
Brother, we're trying to get to lunch. Come on. Go ahead, tell us.
Put up in
Mr.
it. Put up in
President.
it. Put up in it.
Yeah, no,
So-
my question was kind of related to that as well, like how far in advance do we plan like our events and,
I mean, we plan them out like a month or two in advance. We have essentially kind of like a basic skeleton based around when brothers join. So typically brothers are joining wintertime, Ramadan, and summertime. So expect for January, we're gonna have orientation because all of those brothers that have been nominated at that point, they all have joined us. So we'll have kind of an orientation the first week. We're gonna have the, basic kind of Aqidah class, just so that, Aqidah and Farda'een, just so that we have kind of a base level knowledge that we're building. Ghusl Mayyit workshop, and then kind of like an exam around those topics. We're gonna always do that for each round that we add brothers, just so that there's kind of, I know it's, kind of like making it too standard, but there's a baseline there, for the brothers that join us, so they kind of understand like what to expect. Wintertime, we'll also do a couple of workshops at the range, The idea is that wintertime we'll do some kind of firearm safety training. Summertime we'll do like archery. But other than that, you know, it's always going to be a mix of, you know, ilm, of, you know, business, of skill development. So hopefully that answers the questions. Okay. All right. I want to give shout outs to everyone. And I know that sounds generic, but everyone for, you know, really putting their head down and working hard on the Masjid Bilal renovations. I appreciate each and every one of you. May Allah reward you and make them weighty deeds on your scale. I want to shout out Ubaida and Abdurrahman. Those two brothers, alhamdulillah, like I really appreciate you guys stepping up, especially for the Ghusl Mayit and the cemetery. So I always, you know, encourage, if you are able to, try to attend the janazas, and, you know, if you can, to participate and help with the Ghusl Mayit, the washing of the deceased, as well as when we show up to the cemeteries. Our community has grown so large to, you know, volunteer to help with parking, just kind of crowd control, which these two brothers, alhamdulillah, have stepped up. I know a lot of you guys, you know, as often as you guys can, also step up in that regard. So I greatly appreciate that. Any other shout outs? Anything good? Okay. We'll go ahead and close here. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. جزاك الله خيرا.